Hi, good morning. My name is Vijay. I'm a Senior Director for Startup Innovations at T-Hub, welcoming all the listeners and viewers today for the T-Hub podcast. This is a beautiful morning, and we have a young and dynamic leader from Reckitt today with us, Aditya Khurana. Aditya Khurana is a dynamic professional with a remarkable journey in the tech industry. He is the director for Reckitt Cloud. Aditya's expertise spans across software engineering, product management, and leadership roles at some of the most innovative companies. He has worked in companies like Value Labs, HCL, TCS, and with a strong background and work experience of over 24 years. He has led both technical and strategic domains, and he has consistently demonstrated his skills to drive innovative, impactful projects and led teams to success. Aditya, welcome to the T-Hub podcast.
Thanks, Vijay, for having me here. A pleasure.
Thank you. So, Aditya, in this podcast, we'll dive deep into your journey. We'll talk about your background and also look at Reckitt's role in the innovation journey. So, Aditya, first question. Could you just tell our viewers about a bit of your background and your 24-year long and impactful journey that you have had?
Sure, Vijay. I think when you say it's 24 years, it seems to be a long time. But it's good to be in an industry like IT, which changes so rapidly, so it keeps you young and you don't feel the years going by. So I started off my career with TCS way back in '98. Was part of a banking product there, and it was amazing experience. Was on the cutting edge of technology at that time. Then moved across to HCL. Spent almost 15 years there. Spent another 5 years with Value Labs and have been with Reckitt for the last 3 years. If you look at the journey, it's been through consulting and services side and eventually on the product side of things. Have played various roles in various capacities, leading technical teams, managing support engagements, driving transformation projects, and within Reckitt leading the cloud team here. So very good experience across all facets of software industry. And it has been eventful. Have been fortunate to have had various opportunities to prove myself, also to bring in a lot of innovation in what we do. So no complaints.
Very interesting journey, Aditya. Is it fair to call you Adi or we stick to Aditya?
Anything is good with me.
What do your friends and family they call you?
Usually Aditya.
Okay. I have a lot of friends, Aditya.
Yes.
I tend to get inclined towards calling them Adi.
I'm good with that. Some of my friends do call me Adi as well. So anything is good with me.
Cool. Thank you so much, Adi.
Yeah.
So you talked about your journey with TCS, HCL, Value Labs, all primarily being core services companies, and Reckitt being a consumer health and hygiene product company. So what drew you from being in a core services companies to a consumer product company and primarily into health and hygiene?
If you look at it, Vijay, the core of it, everything is IT, right? So while I was as part of services organizations also, we used to have clients like Reckitt with whom we used to work very closely. The space was not new for me. I worked with clients like Cadbury's, Fonterra, all of them in very similar space. You know, you see the world in a very different light when you are on the services side compared to when you actually are part of the product organization themselves. So I had spent bulk of my career as part of the services consulting firms. And I wanted some experience on being part of the product company itself, seeing what drives them, what are the internal innovations that they bring in. Because a lot of the work that we used to do as part of services was driven through the product companies itself. It was their roadmaps that we used to support them or enable them to work on. And it was good to be part of a company where you could actually define a lot of these roadmaps, a lot of these strategic decisions could be taken and owned by myself in my current capacity. Mm-hmm. So wanted to be part of that ecosystem, and Reckitt's overall purpose also appealed a lot in terms of the kind of projects and products they have. It's to make the world better, healthier and cleaner. So a great company to be associated with.
Interesting, 100+ brands that Reckitt has, and I start my morning with washing my hands with Dettol and lot many other products that we use. So you rightly mentioned that, right? Reckitt is known for its strong focus on innovation, right? Can you share some of the recent innovations that has come out of Reckitt and that you in person are particularly very proud of?
I think if you look at overall innovation history of Reckitt, you would find it pretty much every year they come up with new products, new services. And the core driver and the center of all of this is the consumer themselves. Yeah. So a lot of our innovation that gets driven is from what customers need, what consumers need, and again, fulfilling the philosophy of keeping world a healthier and a cleaner place. So you'll see a lot of innovation that happens in terms of the product space. If I talk about, say, Airwick, we recently launched a product which is aerosol free. Again, a very innovative step. We are very high on sustainability. A lot of our new releases, the packaging is much more sustainable than it used to be. So that's another core focus we are having. Talk about Harpic. Now there are self-sticking tablets that we have released over the last year. Again, it uses 99% less plastic, very simple to use, very sustainable. So the list is endless if we talk about it, but all of these eventually add a lot of value to our consumers, are in line with what we believe in.
Thanks. I think you are bringing out a very interesting point of sustainability. We have seen that how Reckitt has transformed itself into, consciously being a more sustainable company which practices high sustainability and high conscious products. Can you talk about the role of sustainability in consumer choices? How, apart from whatever you spoke, and how Reckitt is integrating sustainability into business practices per se?
Sure. If I talk about sustainability, is one of the key drivers for a company today. One of the key focus areas for our management as well. So any new product that comes into market, there is a validation check in terms of how sustainable it is. If you'll kind of study or know Reckitt, we have something called innovation sustainability calculator. So any new innovation, new product launches, it has to qualify certain parameters in terms of our sustainability targets that are there. So that's this side of things. From a consumer point of view, we are now a much younger world. There's a lot of Gen Z, Gen Y, much more aware, very focused in terms of what kind of products they select. And a lot of their decisions are made based on how sustainable a certain product is. Do we care for the planet? Do we care for health, hygiene of everyone? And I see a lot of that decision making is actually happening based on things like sustainability and how quality focused we are.
I'm sure a lot of it owes to Reckitt's R&D process, right? Can you give us insight into the R&D process of Reckitt, and how do you go from ideating a product into a market-ready product?
Sure. So R&D is a very key focus area for us as well. And if we talk about the processes, pretty much all of our processes are GXP compliant. That is good manufacturing processes, good clinical practices, good distribution practices. All of those are built into our daily workflows. Since we use a lot of IT, all of this has to be computer system validated as well. Again, this is a norm across the industry, but we focus a lot on it just to ensure that the products that reach our customers and consumers meet the expectations that they have. If I talk about innovation, I think it's driven across the board. Each business unit would be driving their own innovation charter. But if you look at it at a broad level, it would be a pool of ideas which get collected. Then you actually do I would say, check in terms of how feasible those are, whether it will generate the needed ROI, etc. Filter down it. It's a funnel that is there. And eventually you have down selected to a certain set of portfolios or projects that you would undertake as part of innovation.
How easy is the ideation process at Reckitt? I mean, for startups, we generally see that people just go out, they think, okay, this is a problem they want to solve, they just go build from idea to prototype to MVP and so on. How easy or difficult it is in a large conglomerate like a Reckitt to go from idea to market-ready product?
It's very fast. I think Reckitt as an organization, we are very fast moving. there have been instances where we have taken something to market in a couple of months, from idea to commercialization to manufacturing. So very dynamic in that sense. And you can look at our product launches. Pretty much every year there's some new product or service that gets launched, and that speaks volumes in terms of how innovative we are and how easy and agile we are to implement a lot of it. We have been tweaking our processes internally as well, refining things. The whole execution machinery, especially the IT group that I belong to, we have now systems in place, we have infrastructure in place which allows all of our business teams to innovate last faster, do quick POCs, see what works, fail fast, pick up initiatives which make sense, commercialize it, take it to the market.
Any particular brand under Reckitt that you very closely you associate very closely and have seen their journey that you would want to talk about?
I think I quoted a few. Pretty much all of them are very innovative. If I talk about Dettol itself, we have now come up with a powder form of the soap itself, so you can actually mix it into water and it gives you a soap bottle. So things like those are a lot more sustainable. Packaging is much smaller, reduces the overall carbon footprint we have on the world, easier to reach corners of the world as well. So all of those things are kind of, we are very proud of. Talked about Airwick as well. Again, very customer friendly, very sustainable products that we are taking to market. So all of these, I think it would be injustice to pick one. I think all the brands that we have are leaders in their own space. You pick up any one of them, either we would be first, second or third in our market share across all of these brands.
I totally like, if I was sitting at your place and if I were thrown this question, I would really say that I clearly associate with the powdered form of Dettol. I haven't seen anything as innovative as that coming out, right? Where you clearly, like, you have transformed everything into a powdered form. You use it. There's very less wastage. The prices have come down, and we use it like very often. So that's one of the products I really associate with.
So especially if I talk about Indian market, I think if you step into any household, the common ones which you will see is definitely Dettol. Pretty much we have grown up using Dettol. Even as kids, that was the antiseptic to go to. Lysol is another key product. So especially during the COVID times, we have seen that was the choice of mostly everyone for any disinfectant that they wanted to use. Again, during COVID, we see a upsurge of all the washing machines being used. So Finish has now entered into pretty much all households as well.
Absolutely.
A lot of innovation on Finish as well. So instead of just using powder forms, you have now tablets, which kind of combines a lot of your aftershine, the washing powder, very innovative way in how those are designed.
Very interesting. Do you also, in this whole process of innovation and ideation, do you also collaborate with startups which are external and who are doing some kind of innovation in the consumer health and hygiene industry? Does Reckitt have a history of collaborating with such startups like that?
We have a different group which works with the ecosystem of startups as well. We also work with upcoming companies. There's a lot of mergers and acquisition space that we also are active in. So if we find any products which are appealing, there has been we have acquired a lot of the companies there as well. So we're very open in terms of all of those areas. We have a very open innovation culture as well. So there are portals where you can go in, and if you have ideas as a startup, you can go and submit those as well, which will be picked up by our innovation teams to verify if it makes business alignment for us as well.
I think that's very interesting for anybody who's listening, how startups can partner with a company like Reckitt. So Adi, let's dive a little bit more on the industry insights. What major trends do you currently see in the consumer health and hygiene industry? How the whole world is moving, where the whole world is moving towards with respect to consumer health?
Sure. I think there's a lot of awareness, and I kind of alluded to it as well. a lot of the decision makers now are a lot younger people. For them, it's not just the product, it's a lot of the belief that you bring into the product as well. Whether you're sustainable, what kind of carbon impact you are making to the world. All of those are decision points that they have. There are a lot more channels from where the buying is happening. There used to be very traditional routes of selling, but now with social media, direct to customer, there are different channels where they are exploring as to how to buy products. There's a lot of word to mouth, there's a lot of social publicity. So we have to be in sync with a lot of it, ensure that the younger generation is also aware of all the products that we have, the innovation that we are bringing in. Also, market our beliefs and the work that we are doing across the things. So all of those are opportunities and challenges both, because you have to keep pace with a lot of it. Then there's a lot of demand in terms of what's new that is coming in market, because the behaviors are changing, how we live are changing. So we have to be in line with the market demands.
With respect to the market demands, Adi, what challenges, what large problems do you see that, or you foresee that you think a company like Reckitt or similar companies in the domain should be looking at solving? Like we saw COVID-19, for example. Yes. We are seeing the world moving towards more fragmented now. What kind of challenges do you see that companies like that of yours should be getting into or solving?
No, I think if you look at it, there are still corners in the world where it's a lot of the basics, things which we assume in terms of hygiene, sanitation are not there. I think to reach to those levels, to make that social impact, collaborate with communities, work very closely with them on a lot of those things. I think those areas we definitely need to look at. In fact, we ran a big campaign called Swachh Bharat in India, so you must have seen ads around that. All of that is in line with that, to bring that awareness, take it to remote corners of India and the world. I think that is where we are heading to.
Interesting. Swachh Bharat. Where are we on the Swachh Bharat, by the way?
I think we have seen a lot of change, and awareness is driving a lot of this change. And I think we are in a very good place, given our current generation is very aware. And we are also more responsible in terms of ensuring that we give a better world to our next generation than what we got. So I think it's moving in the right direction. There's always scope for improvement. Nothing is perfect, but till the time we are heading in the right direction, I think it's a good place to be.
So Adi, Reckitt is what? Reckitt was started in the year around 1840, I guess. Around
Yes.
close to more than 100 years now. So how is Reckitt leveraging digital transformation and technology to drive innovation and improve consumer engagement? I mean, it's been a company which started where there was no digital era. Now we are into a completely digital era. So how do you see this?
Sure. A question very close to my heart, Vijay, given that I am from IT and deep part of it. Today, any company is an IT company if you look at it, because all your underlying systems have to be on IT. If I talk just about Reckitt, pretty much all our processes, all our workflows are touched on by IT. And we have been very agile and innovative in bringing in the best practices, bringing in the new technology into our ecosystem. A lot of it is validated by kind of rewards that we have received as well. So when I joined 3 years back, I was working as director for service experience at that time. And a lot of our focus was improving the experience in how our internal customers experience IT. So we did a lot of transformation. We brought in a lot of automation there as well. We received Hackett Award for digital transformation. We did receive awards from UiPath for our process automation there as well. So that is kind of core to our ethos. In fact, a lot of our KRAs are to look at the latest technologies, exploit technology to our advantage. So anything new that comes into market or is in play, pretty much we'll be experiencing and dabbling with it. So I was talking about some of these automation initiatives that we have done. Digital is core part of our ecosystem. We went in a big way towards cloud. Pretty much all our application estate is in cloud today. Enables us to move very fast, being very agile. Gives us a lot of scale, a lot of ability to incorporate the new technologies, things like generative AI. All of those we can experiment very fast and see what works, what does not work. And as part of my role, we ensure a lot of these upcoming technologies. There is a safe foundation. There are enough rail guards across some of these technologies so that people need not bother about a lot of these tech part of it, but focus on the core business processes, how they can leverage a lot of the IT to deliver value to our end customers.
I have personally seen a lot of large companies, even smaller now. There's a lot of challenge in terms of adopting digital transformation. How much of the time do you face resistance within your organization, which is very natural? People are used to be working in a certain way that they have been. How much of the time that you see that internal resistance towards adopting digital transformation?
I think we are very receptive in terms of new tech, but there are few core questions I think everyone needs to answer. Just taking technology because it is there does not make sense. There has to be a value proposition to bring in any new technology. And once that is established, I think everyone's very receptive in ensuring that we bring it to the table because eventually it adds value to our end consumers. I have not seen kind of, if you have a right business case in place, anyone coming in and saying, still will not go ahead with it.
You might be getting some bit of resistance at times, right?
So,
Nahi use karna hai types.
So if you look at it, Vijay, again, when I say, supposing let's take generative AI, given that it's in news everywhere. If I just bring in generative AI, there are a lot of questions in terms of privacy, in terms of how data gets handled. And it's fair to ask those questions.
Of course.
Right? If you just say, okay, we'll go ahead and do something because it is there in market, it does not make sense. So you have to build in the right ecosystem around it. You have to have responsible AI guidelines. You need to ensure you are using it for the right use cases. And it's our internal job as well to market it internally, saying, this is all there now, the safeguards are there. This brings this advantage. And if you showcase it, definitely, I think people are on board.
Sure.
But it's a good culture to ask questions, I think.
Of course.
And we are very open in that sense to be able to question, to be able to discuss points and then arrive at consensus to move forward.
How would you also, for example, there'll be a lot of companies which are sitting on the verge of digital transformation but not taking that leap. What would be your advice to them? How they can transform themselves into from being a non-tech to a core tech user?
Yeah. Vijay, again, I don't think it's a choice that they have because if they don't do that transformation, they will no longer be in play. Okay? You may have a first mover advantage where you started doing something early on and that's why you have a market share. But if you don't adopt digital today, eventually there are startups which are moving very fast. And there is no way that these companies will be able to compete. So they have to ensure that they adopt digital, move as fast as maybe some of the startups, bring in new products, bring in new services, innovate faster. That's the only way to survive.
And do you think it's a good idea for those companies to partner with startups, being agile, bring in transformation as early as possible?
Again, there are various models in which companies work. Some of them believe to have more internal innovation being done. There are other organizations which kind of look outside in, where they would partner with a lot of startup ecosystem, bring in a lot of the tech or new innovations that are being happening. So I think it's a matter of strategy. I think both work. It depends in terms of what kind of a culture a certain organization has. But they need to definitely have one of the other ways to innovate faster.
Sure. So, Adi, can you discuss any specific technologies or digital tools that you've had a significant impact on your operations or product development that you have done?
I think cloud is definitely one. Uh, Having cloud has enabled us to move very fast. Uh, there's a whole play in terms of scaling very fast, because that is what it enables you. A lot of our lead times in setting up the right environments to get a job done is tremendous in cloud. It builds in a lot of redundancy in terms of failure. Uh, so our applications are, the uptimes have gone up. We are seeing people kind of spinning up and doing quick, innovative projects on cloud very fast. Automation is another big one. I would say data and analytics again plays a very big role. And in the coming days, I'm sure Gen AI would be another area that we would be exploring.
Moving on to our next segment, we talked about the trends, we talked about sustainability, we talked about digital transformation. Let's move towards being collaborative and bringing in partnerships.
Yeah.
So, how do you think how important are collaborations and partnerships in driving innovation at Reckitt? And can you also the second part of the question would be, can you also share some of the successful partnerships that you have seen that have worked for Reckitt?
Sure. So Vijay, we have a very healthy ecosystem of partners that we work with, and each brings in their own expertise in terms of the areas that we collaborate with them. We have been also collaborating with T-Hub, and in fact, we ran a very good workshops around how we can bring in more sustainability in our IT hub in Hyderabad. So all of those are very key examples in terms of how we are bringing in a lot of these innovative best practices from our vendors and integrating it in how we work to make it much more innovative.
Sure. I mean, can we take a minute to deep dive into your collaboration with T-Hub? What kind of activities were done, and what advice would you give to other companies who are looking to foster innovation through external collaborations like that with T-Hub, for example?
I think it has been a very good partnership with T-Hub. There were a couple of aspects that we were looking at. One is to leverage the startup ecosystem because you work with a lot of startups. So anything new happening in the space, definitely we can tap in. We also worked with you in terms of sustainability. It was a very well-driven workshop and initiative that we had around it. Started off with some very good design thinking workshops in terms of ideating, collecting a lot of these ideas, and then refining them down to what can be implemented here. So we are seeing some of them already implemented, others are in pipeline to be implemented in the Hyderabad hub here.
Anything more focused or concrete do you think an organization like T-Hub should be doing towards corporate innovation for companies like that of yourself that you think that we haven't touched upon?
I think if we segmentize a lot of the startups that we have that you work with in terms of industry focused areas, I think that would drive a lot more collaboration. What I've seen today, it's more tech focused startups. Again, that's the nature of how innovation is happening, at least in most of the areas. But to align a lot of these tech to final consumer problems, I think that would be helping you to engage a lot better with the industry. Yeah.
Sure. I'm really grateful to you to, you have brought this very interesting topic again, which is very close to my heart. I get to work with over 5,000 plus startups every year, and I see this trend of tech, non-tech, and how they both talk to each other. We'll probably talk more offline on the segmentation that you spoke about. I have been working on creating that segment of startups and how they can be beneficial to a corporate like yours. We'll share more details on that. But it's been great chatting with you. Is there anything else that you would like our listeners to know about Reckitt or your approach to innovation?
And only I'll like to end by saying I think it's an amazing organization to be part of. Very innovative in culture, very agile. It's a fun place to be in, and we are at forefront of innovation, bringing in a lot of product services and ensuring that the world we live in is much more healthier and cleaner.
And okay, of course, cleaner for sure. Would you like to, as the last part for our listeners as well. Would you like to talk about? You spoke about it. There's a website where startups can look at innovations happening, the requirement that Reckitt has. Can you just throw some light on that, where how people can collaborate with you?
Yeah, it's an open website. In fact, when you go there, you'll find a lot of open challenges where you can submit your solutions to. If there's no ongoing open opportunity, there is a form where you can submit your ideas if you have any. And all of that gets collated internally, where we work through and see, okay, which ones are aligning with our business and which can be taken forward.
Thank you, Aditya. It was really nice chatting with you this morning. I got to learn a lot about Reckitt, which a company that we have been associated with, or we have related to since childhood. I'm sure most of our viewers and listeners who are watching this podcast would also relate to the great brands that Reckitt has. There are a lot of brands that a lot of us even don't know about that Reckitt brings, apart from the regular ones that we use. Which is one brand that that you would say is your favorite? I'm sure. I mean, being a father, you can't say that no, I like this kid of mine. But if you have to pick one, which one would that be?
I think all brands are very close to my heart, but the longest brand which I have been associated with is Dettol.
Of course, all of us.
So I would go with that.
Thank you, Aditya. Really great, really pleasure to have been speaking with you this morning. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Vijay. Thanks for having me here.
Thank you.